Hey everybody, welcome to Fab Fit Friday during a week where I'm teaching 5 days in a row. This has been such a fun week for me, and I'm about halfway through my teaching schedule for the week, and I have to say I'm really having a blast. Now, having said that, I didn't have a lot of time to get any other work done because I developed a new class for the ASG virtual conference that's happening this weekend. And yesterday I taught how to pad up your dress form. And I just want to show you what I did in class. So this is my French European dress form. Sadly, my ditto form is with Carol getting a little plastic surgery. Hey Diane, welcome. I'm just showing my padded up dress form and how to make a simple cover that I taught yesterday for the National ASG's fall virtual conference. And this was really a fun class, but I had to make it from scratch because they asked if I could teach it, and I said, oh, of course I can. So I came up with the plan for it. And what I just want to tell everybody, if you're working on a dress form that's too small in the bust, using one of your bras as a guide to help you fill it and create the shape that agrees with you, because I can just show you here. See, I have the same bra on, right? I always wear the same bra. So this cup shape is me in my everyday life, which is kind of exciting. And I showed how to pad up, and create pads and like a tummy pad, how to measure and check, how to measure just the front of you versus a circumference. So this was really a fun class, and that's what I did yesterday. Today at 3, I am teaching my great rub-off class. So if anybody's interested in learning how to clone a garment, you can join me at 3 o'clock on Zoom. And where you find that is at ASG, the National ASG website, which I think is asg.org. I didn't put a link in the description below because I was having a little bit of a technical issue with my software to get started today, but I am teaching that at 3 o'clock. And then there are more classes tomorrow. So you might want to check those out because there's a lot of fun going on, and you don't need to be a member to join the classes. So that's what I taught yesterday. This is what I'm teaching today. And then tomorrow I am teaching efficient workflow for bodice fitting. And right now I have 4 people in the class. I'm happy just to have 4 people in the class. Sometimes it's nice to have a small class size. So they're going to get the deluxe treatment. But if anybody else would like to join me for that Zoom class, it's a 12-hour class, and you're going to spend all weekend with me essentially from noon to 6, both Saturday and Sunday. So if anyone would like to join me for that, there is a link in the description below for that class. And then, I can't even believe it, but the weekend after this weekend is my 3-day pants fitting workshop, which is also sold out. So I am just having a blast doing all my teaching things, which again leaves me little room for doing all the things I said I would do, like model my outfit, which you can clearly see I'm not wearing it. But the good news is I have it cut out, and I'm going to show you how I decided to work with this knit and how I'm going to sew it together. That's what we're going to do today. Hi, Bonnie. Welcome. It's just you 2 ladies today, Bonnie and Diane. Thank you for coming. All right, so raise your hand if you don't own any black serger thread or you don't know where your black serger thread is. I went to go thread my machine before I got on today, and I can't find my black serger thread. So I'm going to show you what to do if that happens too. All right, so let's switch over to my table shot here. And the first thing I want to show you is what I decided to do about cutting out the pieces. And my primary concern for this top, and actually I'm going to put my face camera back on. My primary concern for this top was I didn't want any pulling across the bust. Now this t-shirt fits, the above the bust seam comes up like this, and I know it's hard to see because I'm wearing a black top, but basically it does this. So what I did was I physically laid the fabric across my bust, and I measured that I needed 22 inches through here to get the fit I wanted. So what I did to the paper pattern is I traced that lower front piece, and I'm just going to show you. Oh, hey, Mary. Oh, Mary's walking down the gravel road to the up of Michigan listening to you. Well, thank you for listening, Mary. It's a good thing you can't see me because I'm wearing black today. I don't have any colors on. So you're not missing anything visually. Okay, so what I want to show you here is, I'm just going to make this slightly darker. I blew out the color, so when I'm working with the dark fabric, you'll be able to see it. But basically what I did was I traced my lower bodice piece of my tee. And so the piece originally looked like this. And what I want to show you here is I measured what it was, and then I added an inch to each side to give me 22 inches. Hey, Polly, welcome. So I traced it and I extended it, but here's the interesting thing. And I don't even know how this is possible. I'm going to be completely honest with you. But after I extended the sides, so you can see, I'm just going to color it in just to make sure you understand what I did here. I basically added all of this. So I'm just going to quickly color it in. So that little wedge right there, and then it goes all the way down. You know, I filled in the essence of waist, and I kept the original hem width right there. Oh, Mary can see me and hear me. All right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I don't have color on today. All right, so this right here, all of this is what I added to both sides. So nothing at the hem, because that's always wide enough for me. And I filled in the curve at the waist, and I added an inch at full bust level on both sides. So I added it on this side too. But then when I walked the actual pattern pieces that sew onto the top of this, and I just want to show you here. Here's one. And where's my other little piece here? I have stuff all over the place. Okay, here it is. So these are the pieces that sew onto, okay, they sew onto here. So this goes here. There's the center. And then this piece goes here. Okay. When I walked those pieces along this new edge, they still fit. So the difference between the original curved line, which is this line right here, and then this new outer edge really significantly didn't change, even though it looks like it's pushed out. It's a little less curved. It's a little flatter. This is more curved. So the net result was very little difference in length, even though I added a full inch here. So I found that very interesting that that's how that worked out. But basically now I'm going to sew it together and we're going to see how it fits. And I'm sad because I did not have enough. I'm just going to make it a little brighter now just so you can see the knit. I had enough to cut out only 2 cap sleeves, so I'm not going to line the sleeve. However, you can see here, if you remember, this is my Christian Dior knit, and I just want to get in really close and blow it out just to show you how nice this knit is. The cut edge is perfect. There's no fraying on the hem edge of the sleeve, so I'm just going to leave those raw. And I cut them on the bias because that's the only way I could fit the fabric on the 1 yard of fabric that I purchased. So I have 2 sleeves that look like this. We'll deal with those later. And then I have the upper back piece. And what I'm going to do for the upper back piece is I am going to use, I cut 2 strips. Now look at this. These are the only scraps I had left. So here's 1 strip right? I'm going to use this, or where's the other one? I just wanted to show you, I took advantage of almost every little piece of fabric on here. This fabric doesn't have any stretch. It's a two-way stretch. It's not a four-way stretch. So if I try to stretch it this way, like this big extra piece I had is not really usable because there's no stretch in the vertical direction, only in the cross grain direction. So this is the biggest scrap I have left. And then I have all these little pieces. So I was able to find 2 places on these scraps where I could cut out relatively long strips. Oh, here's the other. Is this the other one? No. I should have kept them separate from the scrap pile. Hold on one second. Oh, here it is. Here they are over here, actually. So I've got these strips right here. And what I'm going to do with the strip, this strip, is I'm going to finish the back neckline with the strip. So basically the first thing I'm going to do is on the back neckline, oh, Lazarus is asking me if I could use stretch knit lining. I decided to just go with it the way I'm going with it. I did have enough to cut out 2 thicknesses of the center front. So the center front detail, which overlaps like this, I'm gonna line this front piece right here. So these edges will be finished by the double layer. So I did have enough to cut out 2 of these. So to finish the edge of the back neckline, I'm going to use this strip of knit. I'm going to sew it on and then just top stitch it in place or edge stitch it in place to finish the neckline. So I'm going to do that. And then, you know, I have my lower front piece to put on and my 2 sleeves, and my 2 side front pieces are here, and where's the other one? This is the problem with this shirt. It has 4 million pieces to keep track of. What happened to my other? All right, I got my sleeves, I've got my neck, I've got my front and back, I've got my lower front. I'm going to hang that off of my lamp over here. All these pieces I'm going to keep up here so I don't lose them. And what did I do with the second side front piece? This is one of my side front pieces. And then, did it get mixed in with my scraps? I'm throwing these scraps away as soon as I test. All right, so it's not messed up in these. What did I do? Oh my God, I cannot believe I lost one of the pieces. How could that possibly have happened? All right, this is my life. All right, I'm just going to put this stuff over here. It's definitely not there. My serger, oh, my serger got it. Okay, so I've got both my side front pieces. So I'm going to put all these pieces in a neat pile. All the scraps are going to go over there in that pile. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at my serger. Now, my serger is very sad because I don't have black serger thread. Oh, lining for the double pieces. I tried to find something in my stash that had a similar stretch, and I really didn't have anything handy to use with this fabric, so I don't want to risk having a problem with the lining being too stretchy for the top of the for the actual outside of the fabric. So I decided I'm just going to use the same knit front and back, and if it's too bulky, well, we're gonna know that in a minute because I'm gonna sew it together here. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plug in my serger, and then I don't have, like I said, I don't have any black serger thread, or if I do, I I have no idea where it is, which I find highly unbelievable since 90% of the clothes I make are black. I mean, I found plenty of black woolly nylon, but I didn't have any black. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use all-purpose black in one needle, and I'm going to use this in one needle, and then I'm going to use I'm going to use gray. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I found some black. Oh my God. All right, my black is found. I found my black, yay. It was in the only tub I couldn't find. So I have 3 blacks. Do I have 4 blacks? No, I don't. All right, well, happy dance that I looked in there. That was the last bin that I had to check. And I thought, oh, they're not going to be in there. But in fact, they were. So crisis averted, everybody. I found black thread. So let me just see if I can make this a little bit better for you to see. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get rid of my thread I have on here. This is remnants from Wednesday's class when I taught a focus on 3-thread stitching. So I've been all over the map this week doing different things. It's been a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, you have no idea how happy I am I found this black thread. I thought it was going to be physically impossible for me to not have black thread, because again, most of everything I sew is black. So I'm going to take one of the needles from my storage bin. I'm just going to make sure it's an all-purpose needle. And that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to put my knife down. Can you guys, let me make this a little bit lower so you can see what I'm doing here. So I'm going to put my knife down, and I'm going to take my presser foot off. That always gives me more room when I'm changing things like needles. So basically I'm just going to put in my left needle. And you guys know that there's a little window above the needle where you insert it to make sure it's inserted all the way. So I'm just going to get my needles going here. Okay, so I've got my 2 needles installed. Oops, can you even see what I'm doing? Needles. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to thread I'm going to put the thread on my serger, and I'm going to just quickly thread this up for a 4-thread stitch. You know, now that I have my, I found my black serger thread, I am very happy. So I'm just going to bring everything down to here, so you can see. I'm going to use this one all-purpose thread in a needle. So it's going to go in a needle. And then I'll put this other one in a needle. Okay. All right, so I have some fun tips for you today in terms of using your serger to construct something, and then also using the differential feed to help compensate for stretch, and also to help it from gaping away from your body when we sew the facings for the V neckline. All right, so I'm just going to get these in here. Like this. So my needles are ready to thread. Actually, I'm going to just switch on my air feed tubes and get those so they're locked. And then I'm just going to thread my thread through the the air feed tubes. All right, and they've popped out here. Oh, oops, hold on. I have to send more lower looper thread. My lower looper thread. Oops. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, now I can undo that. I can thread my needles, and then we're going to test it on a scrap, because that's always what we do, is test on a scrap. All right, let me just get this in here. Get this one in here. And then I'm just gonna thread these. If anybody's wondering, I do love my Guggenheim scissors. Hey, Tana. Oh my gosh, Tana says no black thread could put one into withdrawal. I was literally in shock that I could not find any black thread because, as you know, black is one of my favorite garment colors. I am trying to expand my color palette, but you know, I'm always going to be working with black fabric. I mean, I love black for things, so that's why I thought it was very unbelievable that I didn't have any black serger thread. But that also shows you it's been a long time since I've sewn with black, so I guess that's a good sign for my color. All right, so I've got myself threaded. Now, the only downside is, you know, sometimes when I'm showing you how to do things, you know, especially I'm going to show you how to sew this top, and I'm working with a dark color, and I'm working with black thread, it's going to be a little hard to see. However, I think you'll get the idea. All right, so let me just see if I can. I'm just trying to get a better angle for seeing what I'm doing here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two sections. Okay, I already have them lined up. Let me make it a little bit brighter so we can see what I'm doing. I tried to determine if there was a right and wrong side on this rib knit, and I feel like it looks exactly the same. So I'm going to just keep them the way I have them positioned, and we're literally going to sew these curved edges. Now, before I sew the curved edges, I'm going to try on a scrap. So I'm just going to take this scrap, and I'm going to sew diagonally or across the bias here because I want to play with the differential feed setting to make it almost gather up a little bit, but compensate for, you know, the stretch in the bias direction. So I'm just going to get myself on 1.3. My stitch length is going to be like 2.5, and my cutting width is at 7.5. So let's just try this. All right, and then this thread is, I'm just going to cut this because it's weird under my presser foot there. Okay, where do I have thread caught here? Is it caught here? All right, let's just make sure I'm not caught anywhere. All right, so I've got my loopers. What's going on with my needles? Feel like they're having an issue here. Hold on. One of my needles came unthreaded. Let me just redo my needles. Okay, so if you're feeling yucky tightness when you're working on your serger and your presser foot is up, then what I recommend doing in that case is rethreading, because something is not spooling off loosely here. So I'm going to take these threads out and I'm just going to do them again to make sure that I've got everything threaded nice and neat here with no extra drag on the thread. Right, that one feels all right. And then this one is going to go here. Yeah, that feels better to me. Something happened when I threaded my needles the first time. Let me just go and do these one more time here. All right, so again, I'm just gonna put my knife down to give myself a little bit more room. Okay, so there's one. Don't you dare tangle. Okay, and let me do this one. See, sometimes no matter how professional you are or how familiar you are with your serger, sometimes it does not behave. Today it is being bad serger. All right, let me see here. All right, let's see if I can get it to be nice now. All right, everything is good. What did I do with that scrap that I just serged? All right. All right, so let me just try it one more time here. All right, so now I have a nice stitch. Let's just look at it. See, I feel like that's gonna compensate and keep it from gaping out at me. I'm making it slightly gathered. So we're gonna try this on the piece now. And you guys know that pins are not a serger's best friend, so I'm just gonna use a few. Hey, Debbie. Welcome. I'm just going to put a few pins in here just to hold it, you know, hold everything in place. I probably only need like 2 pins. I mean, there's very short. So now we're going to just serge this edge. And I'm not going to cut anything off. I'm just going to let it skim the edge. So I'm doing this curve. And I'm just gonna straighten. I'm not gonna try to do the curve like this. I'm going to straighten the curve as I come to it like this. So see how I'm straightening the edge as I go? That'll make a nicer curved edge here. And the little adjustment in differential feed is gonna keep this curved edge from stretching out. So see how nice that looks? Let me just do the other side. I really just need like 1 clip here. All right, so let's do this side. Okay. Okay, I'm just... All right, so now I'm just going to push my serger over a little bit, and I'm going to get my pressing surface. And we're just going to give this a nice press and turn it to the right side. Okay, so now I am going to make this bigger so you can see. Oh, Bonnie says this is so perfect. I'm glad that you're enjoying. All right, so I'm going to just give this a little steam first, just to, give it, get the shape. Let me steam the other part too. And then we're going to turn these to the right side. So see, I'm not really touching the fabric here. I'm hovering and I'm just giving it a nice press. Now I'm going to turn it to the right side. And the whole idea now is I want to sort of get it finger pressed into place. And I'm going to press it so that I see the turn of cloth on the side that's going to be my facing. So I want to get really close in here so you can see what I mean by that. And I'm going to make it a little bit brighter just so you can see. See how you can see that the seam is going to be on the inside or the facing side when I press it. And see how I can just sort of finger press it and get it to be a nice shape before I hit it with the iron. Okay, so then I'm just going to give this a some nice steam. And you can see how nice and flat this is laying too. Just using my hand like a clapper. And then if I turn it over this way, see how nice that looks? Such a nice edge. So there's one. And then let's get the other one. Now I want to make sure I get them in both directions. So this side is going to be going this way, right? So this side has to go this way. So I have, two overlapping pieces. So I just want to make sure that I make the facing side. It's going to be this side. All right, so here we go. I'm just going to get this laid out exactly nice. This is the side I want to see the turn of cloth. Like this. And again, if you just take your time and sort of work with the fabric before you apply heat, you can get a really nice result without traumatizing the edge with the iron. Like that. I'm going to give this some nice steam. And then it's going to be like this. All right, so now I have, if I put them together, I've got, there's my neckline. All right, so I'm pretty pleased with how that looks. So now I'm going to pin with a clip my side pieces. Let me just get rid of my iron for a second here. So now I've got those little side pieces, which are here. All right, this one's going to go here. And this one's going to go right here. Okay, so that's going to complete the top of my T pattern. I want to make sure that this stays nice. So when I pin it, I'm just going to make sure all the layers are neatly together here. That is a lot of layers. That's 5 layers of fabric. So I want to make sure that all stays neat and tidy here. So I'm going to just put one clip here. And then one clip here at the top. And one of the reasons why I like clips is because the clips don't fall out like pins can sometimes. So I'm gonna clip both sides because I know I can firmly hold everything without worrying about it falling apart. So I've got my clips on this side, and then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to clip this side like this. And if anybody is wondering about working with this pattern, and if you have a D+ cup size, I did how to do a full bust adjustment on this pattern for Fit Tip Tuesday, and it was actually a repost from a video I did last year. I didn't have time to shoot videos this week, so I just reposted an older video, but I felt like it kind of went along with what I was doing during Fab Fit Friday. All right, so now we're going to just sew these side edges on like this. And I think I can make myself slightly less bright here. All right, and again, I'm going to try not to cut anything off. I just want to skim the edges. And I'm going to put my differential feed back on neutral because remember, this fabric does not have any stretch in the vertical direction, so I do not need the differential feed setting anymore. I mean, I don't need it to be compensating for anything anymore, I guess is what I mean. All right, and let's do this opposite side. So from this side, I'm going to go from the bottom up. And again, we're just going to skim the edge. All right, it's time to give this another little press job. All right, so here we are with the front of my top. So again, I'm just going to give this little piece here. I'm going to give this a little bit of a flat, just a little steam flat, just to get it to lay nice. And then I'm going to open it up. And I'm just going to give it a nice, I'm not pressing on the fabric, I'm hovering and steaming. So that looks nice. And then this side, again, I'm just going to give it a little bit of a steam. And then I'm going to open it up and give it a little more steam. I think I need a little water in my iron. All right, so now I have a completed upper. The upper bodice is now complete. And what I'm going to do is, the next thing I'm going to work on here, and this is going to be a little bit of a pain because I'm going to have to switch from my sewing machine to my serger to my sewing machine. But the next thing I want to deal with is, Tana is asking me, Bonnie said she watched the Fit Tip Tuesday where you make a full bust adjustment, I think you mean. Yay, I'm glad you watched that. Tana says, why did you choose to leave the knife on even when you don't want it? That's a very good question, Tana. The reason why I always leave my knife on is because I leave my knife on because it skims the little bits of thread or unevenness right on the edge. And also, if your knife is not on and you come too far over, you're going to let more fabric get trapped under the loopers of, the looper threads, and it's going to glob up. So I always leave the knife on to keep me honest and to keep me on point, if that makes sense. Look at my little friend. He's up close and personal here. All right, so if you notice my picture-in-picture, let me just see, here's my table. Let me see if I can add my picture-in-picture here. My settings got screwed up and I had to change something. Let me just see if I can find my thing. Okay. Okay, yay, there we are. All right, so now I'm back so you can see me while I'm working. Hi, Winifred, welcome. This is my T pattern. It comes in misses and women's sizes, and I think I do have links to the patterns in the description of the video of this live stream. This was the original pattern I ever designed, and I will tell you it continues to be one of my most popular patterns. So, because you can make it so many different ways. I've even made it into maxi dresses and tunics. All right, so see how this is going to stretch on as I go, right? I'm not going to pin it or anything. I'm just going to serge it on, and I'm going to stretch it gently as I go. So I'm literally going to do this in one step all at once here on the serger. So let me show you this. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just put my knit strip like this, and I'm going to get the whole thing underneath like that. And then as I sew, I'm gently going to stretch the knit strip, just not a lot, just a little bit. I just want to keep it from, I want to finish the edge and I want to keep it from gaping away from me. So just a little gentle stretching here. And then see here where it's got the curve, I'm just going to straighten it out like this. And just finish up that knit edge. All right. All right, so see now this is where I'm going to have to haul my sewing machine over here for a quick hot second after I press it. So what I'm going to do is, Lazarus says, sometimes I understitch with a triple straight stitch or Seriflex just to avoid the bulkiness of silicone tape. You know what? I've gotten away from using that silicone tape. I never use it, and honestly, I really don't have necklines that gape. I think using differential feed to control the stretch in the garment in most cases can handle it. But I used to really use that clear tape a lot in knits, and I don't know, along the road I got away from doing it. Now in this case, what I'm doing here is, oh, Tana says, I'm newbie serger and I'm still learning the ropes, finding it's such a wonderful tool. Oh, it really is, Tana, and the more you use it, the more you're going to want to use it. So see, I've got my neckline right here, and all I'm going to do is use the nose of my iron to just get that very, the very edge nice and neat here, right? Because what I'm going to do with this is, here's what it looks like on the inside, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap it around the allowance so it looks like this. So this is going to clean finish the back neckline for me, because remember I lined or did facings for the front neckline, so I have to do something to fix the the back neckline. So I'm just stitching, and I'm going to stitch in the ditch here. Now, one of the nice things about sewing the binding on with the serger is it gives it a little bit of stability, and see, it makes a really nice edge. And it makes it even too, because it's the whole edge is the width of the serge stitch. So now I've got that pinned. The next step is I'm going to have to use my sewing machine to sew that on. So I'm going to get rid of my pressing surface, and I'm just going to drag my sewing machine over here. Oh, now here's a trick. My spool of black thread is currently on my serger, so do I have another black thread? I think I do. I know I do somewhere. Oh my goodness, this is frustrating. I am going to what am I going to do? Well, this blows my mind that I don't have a million black spools of thread. I'm going to use, let me see, hold on one second. I'm sorry. All right, this is black. I found my black right here. All right, so I'm going to just quickly plug in my sewing machine. And happy dance. I have a black bobbin ready to go, which is nice. So let's just put the black bobbin on. And then I have this black thread. It is black, yay. So I have a little bit of this one left. This will be perfect. All right, so the way I'm going to sew this now is I am going to just thread this needle here. Come on, you can do it. Okay. And then I'm going to get my neckline. I'm going to put my stitch length on relatively short, like 2.8. And we're just going to stitch right in that ditch. And I'm going to take the pins out as I come to them. Oh, I gotta plug in my foot control. Okay. All right, so we're just gonna sew this right in the ditch. I'm gonna back tack here, and then as I sew, I'm just gonna stretch it just a little bit because then it won't pop when I'm wearing it. And I'm gonna really try not to stitch on the I'm gonna try to stitch underneath the seam, not on the seam. Or on the binding, I mean. I'm trying to sew below the seam. Now remember, this is my Christian Dior fabric, so I'm trying to be very careful with it because it was expensive. And I want it to look nice. All right, here we go. We're almost done. Okay, so I did that in addition to, no, I think that's good. All right, so I'm pretty pleased with that. All right, let me get rid of my sewing machine. I only needed it for that one step. I can do everything else on the serger. Let's move this out of the way. All right, so now, before we do that, let's just give this a press. So I'm going to give this a press. So I can get the shape right back, see? Oops. See, it makes a nice shape. So give that a nice press. And then I'm going to cut off all the extra at the shoulder. And we have to cut off the extra here. And I think I've told you guys, I like to use my curved blade scissors or duck bills. Let's try using the duck bills today because my curved scissors are downstairs. I brought them to do a project at my mom's. So a duck bill scissor, which I have a little goober on my, is that like a little rusty spot? So a duck bill scissor has this bigger side, which will keep you from cutting what you don't want to cut. Oh, Diane says, I haven't sewn with my Christian Dior knit. Sure looks like it's a dream to sew with. It is very nice, Diane. It's really nice to work with. But what you're going to have to be careful with is you're going to have to be careful making sure that you make it big enough because it really doesn't have, the stretching on it is not huge. So I made sure I tested, I tested the width really carefully across my full bust before I cut it out, and I made my pattern 2 inches wider than my normal T pattern because I really didn't want it to pull across my bust. So I'm hoping you guys will see the proof in the pudding in a minute. Well, not in a minute, but when I try it. All right, so I cut that short. Okay, so that's all set. And now what we're going to do is we're actually going to put the front and backs together, and then we'll sew the lower front and backs together, and then we'll put it together and we'll try it on. This is super exciting. This is one thing that's nice about working with knit garments. It's almost like instant gratification because things go together quicker than when you're fitting and trying to sew like my cashmere pants took forever. All right, so I'm just going to clip all these tails so they're out of my way. And then we're going to sew these together. I'm going to make a long sleeve version of this out of the navy Christian Dior knit I have. I bought 2 yards of that one, so I have more. All right, so basically what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to literally match up my shoulders, and we're going to sew those together. Oops. And I'm going to use some clips. Now I am not putting any stay tape in this top because this fabric is so dense it's not going to go anywhere. So I'm not bothering with the stay tape. Especially since I have double layer fabric in the front. I feel like this will be plenty stable. Okay, all right, so let's try this. All right, so now I'm going to bring my serger back, and we're going to serge. And I'm going to serge, so I'm going in this direction because I want this to stay flat. So I'm just going to sew it in the direction that it will make it be that way, so I don't have to worry about taping it down or anything. So I'm going to put this right under there so I can sink my needles. Just checking and making sure. I want to make sure this matches relatively well here. See right here. And I think that's okay. That's the only downside with finishing them separately. You really want that to match up. You know what? I'm not happy with that. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this out and do it again. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape them together because I do not want them to shift. All right, and let me see if I can do my trick where I'm going to tease apart my seam, and I'm going to pull my needle threads. Oops, is it this? Okay, there's one. There's my other needle thread right here. So if you pull your needle threads, it'll pull the stitch right out. See? And it broke, so to find my needle thread again, I just find that the tail that's the shortest. And of course, working black on black on black is a nightmare. Let's see if I can get it from this side. This side's all tangled up. Ugh. All right. Oh, this is a nightmare. It's really hard to see. I'm going to drag in my other light. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can see. I know I'm totally blown out there. Let me just see if I can find my other needle thread so I can finish pulling that out. Where is it? You don't want to risk using your seam ripper here because it's so easy to make a hole in knit, especially when you're trying to take apart black and black. I think it's this one. Yeah, see, I found the needle thread. Okay, now I've almost got it out. It's just here it's all globbed up because when I started it got caught. But see, I took this whole seam out in just a couple seconds without using my seam ripper because I don't want to pull or make any, I don't want to make a hole in my knit. All right, so we have to do this better because since I finished the back neckline with that knit, I want it to line up exactly. So we have to take a better precaution for that. So because I traumatized that, I'm going to give it some steam. So if you ever have to take anything apart that you're working on and it's really nice fabric like this, see how I stretched it a little bit? I'm going to go ahead and steam it back into position, or I'm going to try to get it to steam back into shape. Okay, that'll be okay. And then I don't want all of these threads I'm going to pull all this thread out. I don't want to have that there. Okay. All right, we're going to try this again, but this time we're going to take precaution because I want it to line up exactly. So to do that, I'm going to use some of my wash away Wonder Tape here because I really want that to match up at the neckline edge. So let me get a piece of this. And I like this tape for the reason that it actually washes away. So after you sew, you don't have to worry about any bulk. So I'm going to go ahead and tape the entire shoulder seam together. And that way, it's going to go nowhere. So let me see if I can get the paper backing off without being too mean to it. This is an older roll. I found that the newer Wonder Tape isn't as wonderful. Like I'm finding that it's really not as sticky as it used to be. So this is an older roll, which I feel like has better sticking power. So now I'm going to make sure when I lay this down, I'm going to line it up so it lines up exactly. Right exactly like this. I'm going to make sure this is on there all the way. And then we're literally going to line that up. Just want to make sure I got rid of all the extra threads. Okay. I'm going to line this up so it matches up exactly like that. And I'm going to stick it on. So you can see now, sticking it on like this, see, that's not going to go anywhere because it's all stuck together. And I'm not going to have to worry about it doing anything funny. I've got it stuck on really nicely there. So I might as well do this side too. We're going to get rid of the clips and I'm going to use the Wonder Tape. Like this. So this is for when it absolutely has to be completely perfect. Take the time to use, use some Wonder Tape. It is a little fussy if you can't get the backing off, but once you do, it's totally worth the effort because then you really don't have to worry about it shifting at all. This is almost cheating, I think. Okay, so I've got that one. And again, we're going to stick that so it goes right even, perfectly even, front to back, like that. All right, now let's serge these things. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to serge these now. So see how perfect that one is? That little tape will get washed away. So now I have perfect shoulders. And really, this is going to be the only fussy step, is this step. The rest of this t-shirt is going to go together really nicely. Oh, all right, I'm going to go over this one more time. Hold on. I wasn't close enough to the knife. I'm just going to go a little bit closer here. I don't know how that happened. All right. All right, this side is continuing to give me a little bit of a fit. I'm going to have to fuss with that later. I don't know what's happening, but for now, I'm just going to leave that. All right, so let's just look at what we have. Okay, so here is our top of our thing. The next thing I'm going to do is sew my little short side seams here. So I'm going to put it together upside down or right side out, and I'm just going to sew this, my little short seams here, and then I'm going to sew the longer under ones, and literally I'll be able to get this together in like 5 minutes. The rest of the shirt will go together super fast. So I just want to show you what it's going to look like here. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my lower, these are my lower pieces for the front and the back. Oh yeah, Tana's saying I could use a leader for that shoulder seam. She's absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I should have like had something sticking out from there. All right, now I just want to show you here, I didn't adjust my back. So you can see here, my back is significantly less wide than my front, and I'm hoping that that's going to be okay. You know, I really made the front so much wider because of my bust, and you know, I've lost weight, so I feel like my back was probably even less wide than previous, you know, in previous times making this pattern. So I'm going to be really interested to see how this fits with the front being so much wider than the back. So let's see what happens here. I might cry if it doesn't fit. but you'll be the first to know because I'm literally going to pop it on the minute I get it sewn together here. All right, so now so I'm basically just sewing side seams together. That's all I'm doing here. Nice and easy side seams. All right, and then as soon as I get the side seams done, I'm just going to sew the top onto the bottom, and then I can try it on. So like I said, those shoulders are a little bit fussy. And partially they're fussy because of the way I finished the back with the binding like that. All right. All right, so, all right, I'm gonna press the side seams after. Oh, I'm looking at my knit. Look at this. I'm looking at my knit, and see those little holes? That's because my left needle came unthreaded. So see how I only have a 3-thread narrow here holding this together. But I have to fix that now. Darn it. That happened on both of these side seams. All right. All right, I understand if any of you need to leave because it's getting to be a little bit late here, but I really want to see how this works out. And I don't want to just serge on top of this. So I'm going to take a second here and take out by pulling my needle thread. And since there's only one thread here, this will come out in 1 second. So see how I pulled that out and got rid of that seam? That happened that fast. And again, I'm going to just pull it out here too. If you're working with a 3-thread, the 3-thread is really easy to take apart because you're pulling the needle thread, and because there's only one needle thread, it comes out really easily. All right, so see, I'm just literally pulling it out like that. All right, so I've literally took out those 2 seams in 2 seconds here, and I just want to see what happened on my serger where I lost my thread. So let's just lift this up and let me just go ahead and thread this again. Do you ever have one of those days where just nothing goes smoothly? I feel like that's been a theme for me this week. All right. All right, let me just thread this really fast and see if I can get this sewn up. Because in like 10 minutes, I'm going to have to go get ready for my other class, which starts at 3. If anybody's joining me for the Great Rub Off, you're going to see me again really soon. Okay. All right, so now we are threaded both needles. And then I'm just going to make sure I clear my threads, I think, just to make sure everything is okay. Yep, everything's spooling off nicely. All right, let me try this one more time here. I'm literally just going to put this back under here. I'm going to sew this one more time. I'm going to skim a tiny bit off the edge so I don't have any holes showing from All right, and then let me just sew this other side back up. Victoria said, I just enjoy this sew along. Can't wait to see the final results. Sylvia says, hey Jen, Tiana's like, I so identify with your challenges today. Sylvia was having dinner. There is a thread pulling. Yes, because I broke a thread, Sylvia. So when I sewed the seams, I only had a 3 thread. So I wanted to take that stitching out and sew it again. Of course, everything is working right now. I've got 4 thread. It literally will just take me a second to All right, I'm a press as you go kind of girl, but I really want to see if, I really want to see if this is gonna be nice. So I'm gonna just work with it, and I'm gonna do something else that you're probably gonna frown at me upon. My side seam is not even on this side, so I'm literally just going to come in and make it evenish like that. All right, so now what I'm going to do is at one point I had my notches, which I've lost them, but that's all right. All right, here's what we're going to do. This is the front. Okay, so I'm going to take the front of this, and it's going to go right sides together. So I'm turning it right side out like this. Okay, so this is the right side. I'm going to put it inside the lower piece here so I could match up my side seams like this. Oh, that's where I lost my, these need, all right, I'm just going to these are also just 3 threads serged. I'm just going to serge these again on top of the old serging because it's a short little seam here. I don't know how I didn't notice that when I was doing it. All right, so now that I have it sewn properly, I am going to put it right side face out like this, and I'm going to put the side seams together right here, and I'm going to have the side seams, I'm going to offset the seam allowances here, so one is facing front and one is facing back just to reduce the bulk. Okay, but I'm also, you know, making sure I line them up here. I'm going to put a clip, and then I'm going to clip from the side seam up to the seam here. Oh, you can't even see what I'm doing. Oh, well, thank you so much. Your videos have me help you a lot. Oh, thank you, Lil. Lil, thank you for coming, and thank you for telling me this helps you. All right, so I'm going to clip it from here to here. So you can see what I'm doing is I'm sewing, or I'm clipping from the side seam up to the seam where the center front and side front pieces go together. And then I'm going to go to the other side and line up my side seams there. And again, I have one side seam going forward and one going backward because I want to offset the bulk there. And then I'm going to pin the seam together to the intersection of the center front and side front like this. And then this should just fit in like this. So see how that kind of just fits right in? Oh, it looks like I am going to have to stretch it a little bit. All right, so this is the middle. Like this. So I have 5 layers of fabric running across the, you know, I have 5 layers of fabric running across there, so I'm just going to make sure everything is nice and neat and organized. And then I'm going to pin the back to the back, and then we're going to see how this fits. This is exciting. All right, and the back, now the back fits 1 to 1 very easily. I didn't do any changing back here, so I'm just going to put one in the middle. And let's just serge this together and see how it looks. I'm so excited. So even a fussy, Mary says, I like that always seems to happen when we sew expensive fabrics. Oh, of course, if I was working with my, you know, Fabric Mart special $3.99 knit, it would have gone together perfectly, pretty sure. All right, I'm going to start right here in the back near the side seam. And I'm going to get it under there. You know, the other thing that's happening too, I do know that when I'm sewing with you guys, I don't ever sew as nicely as I do when I'm sewing by myself, because I'm trying to think and explain as I go. So that does kind of affect my quality of sewing a little bit. Now I'm not going to have time to put the sleeves in today, but that's all right. I can get those in later. I want this to stay. I'm going to make sure that stays flat. Okay, we're almost across the entire front. All right. Now, one thing about using high quality fabric though, and I noticed this when I was working with my cashmere fabric, good quality fabric can actually hide boo-boos. So I'm hoping that's going to be the case here in places where I wasn't exactly spot on. I'm hoping everything will still look lovely. We'll see. But I'm going to try this on for you, and then I'm going to get ready for my other class. Something is... All right, now we're just going across the back and we're done. going to cut off my tail. I'm going to put my knife down. I'm going to overlap my start just a little bit. Then I'm going to lift up my needle, lift up my presser foot, push everything back so there's nothing under my needle, and then I'm going to sew in the air. So see, that gives us a nice stop start. See how you can't really see the stop start? All right, moment of truth. Moment of truth. I'm going to turn this around. All right, I'm not going to press it. I'm just going to pop it on, and I'm going to show you how it looks, because then I have to sign off. So hold on one second. I'm just going to go put this on. Okay, I'm almost 100% happy. Hold on one second. I'm just gonna move this camera out of the way. I'm gonna put my face camera on so you can see me big. Okay, all right, so let's take a close look at this. I think I'm gonna have to take this out. I think it's a little bit too big right here. So I'm going to take it out from like here to the armhole. I'm going to take out the side seam and get rid of a little bit of the width I added. I might have overcompensated a little bit, but you can see the rest of it is fitting nicely, right? Nothing's pulling. So I think once I fix this little thing that I think I added just a little bit too much to the lower piece right here. So I'm literally going to take out the seam from about here to here. I'm going to take out the side seam again, and I'm going to cut off a little bit of the width of that lower piece because I think it's a little too big. But all in all, once I fix that, I think this will be nice. I think so. But I just think it's weird right here because it's too big right here. I guess as a good rule of thumb, you can always take out, but you can't add. So I was being very generous with my my width measurement because I was so afraid. But you can see if if it pulled, this would not look nice in this knit. See, if I pull it snug, you can see this knit does not want to be snug. So I think once I fix that, it's going to be nice. So I think I'm pretty pleased. So yay. All right, well, it's going to need a little rework. So it was only it's only half success. See if I can show you a little bit better. See, I think it's just right here. It's too much right here. All right, well, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to put the sleeve on, and then I will definitely post pictures of the finished top. So thank you for coming along with me to sew my Christian Dior fabulous top. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. If anybody's joining me for the Efficient Workflow for Bodice Fitting, we're going to spend a lot of quality time together this weekend. 12 hours of shirt fitting. 6 on Saturday, 6 on Sunday. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next Friday. Now, next Friday, I'm going to start something different. So it's going to be fun and exciting. So you're going to have to join me to see what it is. So, and I'll also show you this completed outfit with the pants. So I'll have the whole thing all done, and you can see how it all fits and goes together. I'm going to pop the sleeve in, and then we will get everything going. So Thank you guys for watching me. Thank you for holding your breath to see how it would fit. And I'm a little sad that it's not 100% perfect, but I'm sure I can fix it. I can see that I made it a little bit too big. But anyway, thank you guys. I'm going to sign off now and have a lovely weekend. All right, bye.